We had 2 timeouts left, and the phones were working good, so we had everything managed. We're ready to use timeouts. We knew that if we got to the 30-yard line on the left hash, that was Dalton's best kick, but we wanted to move it. That was our last resort at that point. And we were in good shape. It's, our program, they're used to Mayday because we run it constantly. So, and I usually try to get off to the offense pretty good in that period. So they've seen a lot of pressure. They've seen a lot of different coverages from us. And when I run it against the offense during the week, I try to stay close to our opponent as much as I can match up scheme. You know what I mean? What they do. And if we do exactly some of the same things, I'll replicate it. So if I don't, I try to get as close as I can to it. And I felt really good. We threw the ball on a couple quick outs to Dallas, getting out of bounds. We don't have to burn timeouts. Not much time's coming off. We're moving the ball. First down. I don't know. I think we were around 45. They're 45, and we turned it over. And so, yeah, that was a big Debbie Downer right there. We were in good position to take the game, and we didn't make it happen. So it's just another example of us not being able to capitalize on a situation and an opportunity. As much yardage as we gave up rushing to them, we held them to 2 field goals in the second half. And they pushed us around pretty good. They were, we're playing a lot of backups up on the D-line right now, and it showed. And when you're going against those 2 backs they have, Romello Brown and Stinson, they're big backs, and we bounced off them a lot. It looked like we hadn't been in the weight room quite a few times, and they have. But as much yardage as we gave up, we kept playing real hard. We got ourselves off the field. The 2 field goals in the second half, they were down ready to score touchdowns, and we got at them with field goals, so that I felt good about. It took us the first 2 series to match speed, tempo, and execution with them. They went right down the field on us, and that was disheartening. But once we, weathered the storm, we got in the saddle and started to turn the game a little bit and get back in it. And then the second half was nip and tuck. We got ahead. They kicked a field goal. Then we got the ball back, and we went down, and there was that final drive. So it was disappointing, but we were prepared for it. We're playing with a lot of freshmen. I can't wait till the day where we can capitalize on those. It'll come.
Do you like at least now that the games are starting to get really competitive? It's
Yeah.
coming down to the final drive the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. And we're playing without about 20, we were like 25 guys out the last time I checked. And now we're 26. And you just find ways to fight and find ways to compete. And our heart's in the right spot, our effort's in the right spot, our toughness is in the right spot. We just, we need more horsepower. And that'll come through development, recruiting. I felt a lot better after the last couple games about our future than I did maybe earlier in the season. So there are signs of improvement with NMU football. And so we got to keep taking steps forward to that. And believe me, no one's more disappointed in not being able to do a lot of great things for Northern on the first year than me and the staff. But, there's no way a staff can work any more or any harder with the players than what we're doing right now. I work 10 times harder than I did at Ferris, and we won a lot of games. I work probably as hard as we did at Central or Western when I was there. And D1, they own your life at that level. And a lot of people coach D2 so that they can get a little bit of their life back. But we're coaching it right now. Mondays we're in at 7:15, and we don't walk out the field till 10 at night. And then we meet with the players Tuesdays and Wednesdays because our class schedule is all over the place. It's very difficult for the for the coaches to get time with the players for meetings and practice during the week. And somehow we've got to be better there. But we meet at 7 in the morning with our players on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, meet till 8 because they got to go, and then we're back on the field at 3:30. So we 8 o'clock staff meet. We get out of that staff meeting 8:45, and we're practice prep, game planning, drawing cards, and get ready for practice. We walk through at 3:30, and then we go till 5:30. And then it all starts over again the next day. So there's a lot of energy being put into it. So at the end of the day, I can look myself in the mirror and say, are we doing everything we can? Absolutely. And then probably more. So if anybody out there thinks there's any answers to shortcuts or anything like that, that's not happening.
You talked about changing the culture of the place, and you had disciplinary actions. So far as the season is winding down, do you think the message has been sent to the players?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But if I had to guess, I would sure hope so.
Northwood runs a different offense than a lot of the teams. What do you have to do to prepare?
Yeah, I got triple option on my brain right now. This is the best Northwood team I've seen since I've been in the league. They've done a real nice job recruiting. They've got better skill than I've seen them have in the previous 2 years. And their coaching staff, they're just great people. The offense coordinator was one of my GAs at Central. Zach Ritmo, who's the son of the legendary coach, Pat, who passed away, unfortunately, a couple years back, a little bit over a year back, I think. Two years. And their head coach is a tremendous guy. Their defense coordinator, I've known for a long time. They're just great people, and they've done a fantastic job over there. They're a triple option team, a double option team. They've really added and grown into the power read game with their scheme. It's a nice feature for them because it's got some similar mechanisms in it, and they're really good at it. And then they give you a bunch of gap scheme, inside scheme, get you running to the perimeter, and here comes the fullback or the quarterback back up inside. So they present a lot of stuff that we're getting ready for. But to beat them, we got to score points, and they're very good on defense. I've watched them on defense for the past couple of weeks because they're matching up with who we're playing, and I really like their defensive ends. They got a linebacker from Glen Lake. I'm mad he's there. I think he should be here. Excellent player. He played for Jerry Andrews down at Glen Lake, which, if you don't know, is right outside of Traverse City. And Jerry's a very, very dear friend of mine. But the timing just didn't match up. And so he's at Northwood, good player. And they've got a DB back there that's a difference maker, 21. I think he's down in Detroit. I believe he's from Crockett. So they've got some nice guys on defense that we're going to have to manage. And we got to score points. And on defense, we're going to have to manage the run game and not give up the deep ball because that's what they do. They throw post wheels at you and takeoffs on you and orbits at you. And, Zach's done a nice job of carrying over some of the stuff we did at Central with the Z-spot game and things like that when he's got to play ball control and get a first down. So we got to match up. And he'll look at what we did at Ferris against him last year and see if he can carry that over into his game planning. So we'll see. We'll see if we do the same thing. We may not. We may not. We'll see on Saturday.
It's Senior Day on Saturday.
Yeah.
What have the seniors meant to you, especially going through this transition? How have they helped you?
The ones that stayed with us have, they've put the bar on their shoulder and neck and carried it, and they've led very well, and so I'm very happy for them. I'm disappointed that we couldn't do more for their senior season than we have, but I also think, and people always tell me, and when I remember back through my career, it's not always the end result that you get gratification from. It's the journey that it took to get to that. And when we get NMU football back into a healthy and in winning ways, they can say that they were part of that. They set the foundation for it and just how they went about their business and kept everything together when it was a little bit of a rough ride at times. So I give them a lot of credit for that. And a lot of them had to accept role changes where they may have been a starter maybe last year or in the spring, and they're not anymore. Quite a few of them. And that's hard for a guy that's been starter, as a junior and even in spring ball. And then when we get to the season, other guys are playing in front of them. It takes a little more character and a little more mental maturity to, stay productive and stay positive and accept what's going on. But I always tell our players two things. I tell them, if they don't like their role, it's not Coach Nystrom's or the assistant coach's job to change their role. It's their job to change their role. So to make it a little bit easier to understand, if I'm not starting, I'm not going to blame the coaches or the program. I'm going to make it happen. If I don't like that I'm not starting, well, I've got to be better, and I've got to be more productive, and I've got to do things better in my life so that I am doing things that make me want to be a starter and make the coaches believe in me to be a starter. So, and then I tell them this, and it may sound a little harsh, but it's a good motto to live by. It's the players that are starting. It's their job, and it's their responsibility to keep their job. Okay? The coach's job is to beat them out. Sounds a little cutthroat, but it's the truth. And when you see it that way, and when you work that way and go about your life that way, everybody's at their best. So, we'll try to beat out people by what? Recruiting the best ones we can get and developing as fast as we can to get them on the field. Now, the people that are starting, if they go about their life the same way, they'll be hard to beat out, and everybody wins.